Hi everyone, this is the next Jagged Alliance modding tutorial, and this time we are going to take a look at those more advanced Blender scenes for the female mesh and the male mesh, and we'll tell you how to export assets that are adjusted to those scenes, and we will start at the same place we started last time. This is the Jagged Alliance installation folder. It's in Steam Apps Common Jagged Alliance. And in the mod tools folder, you can find the samples. And just as the last time, you have sample mods and sample assets. And in assets, you can see the female and the male sample scenes that are used for export, and also we created those sample mods with those. So we made sure that those scenes are ready for you just to press the export button and everything to work out fine. So in assets, you will find sample female model and sample male model, and here I've just created a copy of those as a reference. So I'm not going to be using the files that are coming with the game. I don't want to mess with those. And here I have my reference folder for the female and the male scene. So for the first part of this video, we're just going to discuss how the scenes are structured, and I will give you more details about the textures. And we will also revise what we spoke about in the last video, which was for the weapon, because the scenes are always structured the same way, and we have to keep this structure in mind for us to be able to export the assets. So I will just first open the male scene, because you've already seen this. We created a sample merc mod with this one, and I will just point your attention to the structure we have here. So basically what this scene has is the skeleton. These are all the parts for the skeleton, and it's also used for the animation. We have a reference body mesh, and if we click on the modifiers, you can see that this mesh has armature modifier, and it's linked to the skeleton. And after that, we have the origin for the pants, and we have the origin for the top. And the meshes that we want to be linked in the top and the bottom are parented by the origin object. So we have an origin, which is a plane axis, and after that we have the meshes that are under this hierarchy here. So this is very straightforward. This is basically the same as the weapon, but let's just check how this thing is linked to the skeleton. So not just the modified skeleton is here as an armature. You can see that it's linked, but somehow those parts are also linked to the armature. And when we open the data for the mesh, you can see that in the mesh itself, you have the vertex groups, and it consists of all the parts of the skeleton, just as we have them here. And when we need to export this mesh, what we need to make sure is first, all the materials are image files. In this case, they are TGA, but they can also be PNG. And when they are set up here, you can proceed to exporting. But also, when you are exporting this asset, you have to make sure that it inherits the right type of animations. In this case, it's male animations. So when we press export, we should be able to export it. I'm not going to do this right now because I need to keep my export files folder clean, so we don't overload ourselves with too much files. Right now, I'll just open for a brief moment the female scene as well, just to make sure it looks the same way and to see some specifics regarding it. I'm not going to save this, and I'm just going to open the female one. Here you can see something different. You might notice that the colors are a bit off. This is because this scene uses colorization masks. which our game supports. So it basically means the following. When you are using red, green, and blue as a base colors, our engine recognizes those as colors that you can colorize in the game. So when we export this mesh using this color mask, I will show it right here. And it also looks this way. You will be able to set colors and change the colors of this t-shirt in the game as well. This is the only main difference, but when we go back to modeling, just so we can export the entity, let's check what we have here. So this mesh inherits female animations. And also you can see that it's set basically the same way as the male one. So we have the reference skeleton and reference body. And we have origin objects, and under the origin objects we have the bottom pants, the t-shirt, and also the head. You can also import heads in the engine. Just take a closer look at the eyes and also other parts. But what is very important to keep an eye out is the vertex groups, and if all the meshes have the vertex groups. And since this is a bit tricky, in the next part of the tutorial, we will talk about how to make sure that your mesh inherits the animation for the skeleton. I will just close this model as well, and I will open a prepared scene. Here in my reference folder, I have a scene that just has an additional mesh that we are going to set up and prepare for export. It is basically the same scene as the male costume. You can see it right here. And what we can do is just adjust the new mesh according to the skeleton. So let's see how we can do this. I will just hide those meshes so they don't get in the way. And let's see how to make this object inherit the animations first. So I will start by adding an armature modifier. In the object section, you can see that I can link only the skeleton that is listed as a first object, which is great. But here, when I play the animation, you can see that the mesh is not moving. Don't mind the fact that the animation is a bit distorted. That's not going to be an issue in the game. It's just for visualizing the parts of the skeleton. So what we need to do right now is link also the mesh to the parts of the skeleton. And when we click here, you can see that there are no vertex groups. And the easiest way for you to link the base mesh group to the new mesh is by opening the weight paint panel. And transfer the weights. But before, just make sure that you have selected the base mesh and the new vest. And the vest is secondary selected, which means it has to be highlighted in light orange. And let's just click on weights, transfer weights. And here in transfer mesh data, you can select from active layer to by name. And you can see that all those data files will be transferred to your new mesh. And when we play the animation, you can see that the mesh is responding to the parts as well. So far, so good. We have transferred the weights. We can go back to setting up the scene for export. In the export panel, you will see all the errors that you need to fix. And it's very important to keep an eye out for this one. We can give a name. And you can see that it has an error that states state of skin mesh is not animated. You cannot fix this manually. You need to just change inherit animation from Mayo animation, and you'll be able to export the file. There is something else we are missing here, and that's the fact that I haven't added a texture. So in base color, I'm just going to add um, a regular color. It doesn't matter what exactly I'm using because this is only for demonstration purposes. And I will just press the export button. Here I can select which meshes I want to export, and I will just select the vest one and press OK. If you see an error, you can just try to re-export it and select the mesh once again. If you see this error appearing, this happens because the mesh name should be changed to mesh. It helps the game learn to know which mesh should be animated. This is the only way the animation can work. And when we press export and press OK, we will see that the export has finished and we can add this mesh to the game. So right now I will open just the export files, which is in AppData roaming Jagged Alliance exported entities. And you can see we have the vest entity. This is what we need to add to our mod in order to see it appear in the game. So you can just skip forward this part and see you in a bit in Jagged Alliance. I'm using a pre-made mod, the sample mod for the imp mark, and I've just added a new entity. So we can quickly import it and test it. Press import, press save. You can reload the entities, which would take a few moments. And when we press test button, we should see our vest in the game. And if you take a closer look, you can see it moving, which means that it will inherit the animations. But let's see how you can set it up. In the appearance preset, you will find more information what type of class should the entity be in order for it to appear in the appearance preset editor. And as you can see, I've set my vest to character armor male. So let's just add it to the preset for the merc. And here it is. Of course, it's not very well adjusted, but you can also change the mesh, re-export it and re-import it in the game while you reach the point till it works as best as possible. So this is it for now. If you have any questions, you know how to contact us. See you soon.